Hi everyone, it's Mack here. Right, time for followers focus number 2. Oh, exciting. I've got a few in here, a fairly decent mixture of things, so you can check those out. I've tried to be fairly broad in what I've chosen, so let's crack on and check them out. Alright, so first up is Akhaziir the Khajiit, scout follower by Kamikaze. Yeah, in Riften in the Bee and Barb is where you can find this awesome cat, and when you meet him he's butt naked, as any cat should be. Now he's fairly basic when it comes to followers. He's a kind of, as the name would suggest, a kind of a scout follower, you know, melee weapons, range, that kind of thing. Nothing too amazingly complex with this one, but he's pretty good in a few ways. You can probably tell from some of the stats there for one thing. But now here he is fighting a bear. This is on legendary, and this is with his default armor, default weapons, all that kind of stuff. Although, as you can see, Chuck's pecking that bear's backside a little bit. He's pretty much handling this on his own. He's pretty tough, so he makes, if you're needing a kind of a tank companion, he's pretty decent for that. And as you can see, even on a dragon, he doesn't get like one shot, he doesn't get scared and run away. He's one tough cookie, so yeah, not a bad follower to have along. This is actually based on Kamikaze Kozonson's own character, this follower, so that's kind of cool that, you know, they've changed their main character into a follower for other people. That's quite nice, and also it is pretty decent, rather than just being, you know, a kind of a stock companion. It's got a little bit more to it than that. So yeah, it's definitely worth checking out if you need like a kind of tanking companion. And you know, Khajiits are cool. I mean, I've got him on an entire Khajiit group with my Khajiit character, which is quite cool. But yeah, very nice indeed. Yay. So, Boney, skeleton follower by Omanmansons. Now, I really like kind of tanky followers, just on certain characters. In the Drunken Huntsman, when you wander in there, he's not exactly hard to miss, because he's a fairly gigantic skeleton with a sword and shield, glaring at you with his blue eyes when you walk in the door. So, yeah. He's kind of one-handed melee, kind of. He does some ranged as well. He's two-handed and heavy armor and all those kinds of specializations, which is really nice. He's got a lot of pretty decent stats, and he obviously does level with you as you level, which is obviously a bit of a bonus. I think he's set to essential when you first get him as well, which is obviously really nice. And he makes some interesting noises as he's running around after you, his little bones creaking, which is kind of cool. But the main thing that he is one hell of a survivor. It might be because he's not got any flesh, and I'm desperately trying not to make some kind of joke about, you know, maybe the reason why he was alone in the Drunken Huntsman was because he's got no body to be going out with. Oh god, I can't believe he did that. But yeah, he's a really good tanking follower, and he's really cool looking. And it's worth saying that, I mean, apart from, you know, some of the stats and the fact that he's a skeleton, he is quite a cool one as well. He's actually marriageable. Now I keep saying he, but when I spoke to him in inverted commas, he had a female voice, so apparently it's a she. So Mrs. Boney, you can marry her, so this could be your wife in the game. Yeah. I mean, I've cuddled up against some bony people in my life, but my god, this is certainly taking the biscuit, but good follower nonetheless. And so on to an army of one by Ghost, pronounced Ghost. Brilliant. Now this is a bit special. I would even go as far to say a little bit mental. But anyway, yeah, in Whiterun, right behind your house in Breedhome, there he is lurking in the shadows, and you can get him to follow you. And the first thing to notice is, you know, it's obvious he's going to be kind of a dual wielding kind of sneaky type, looking very cool indeed. But here's the thing, he's got a few surprises up his sleeve, this guy. Let's have a look at his stats first of all. It does level with you, so that's kind of nice, obviously. Some really nice stats there. Pretty pwn little guy. But here's the main thing that he does. When he's fighting, he summons his own companions. And they've got a time limit on them. They don't last forever. But, you know, as you can see, he's fighting a couple of these guys, and you know, he's summoned in a couple of companions, and you think to yourself, oh, that's kind of cool, I can be killing something else somewhere else and he can be handling stuff. But you'll notice he's not exactly owning that guy, which is probably why he needs a few companions. So here he is, he's summoned one. Oh, he's summoned two, so now there's three of them. Oh, he's summoned another one, there's four. And he's still pounding away. I haven't even hit this guy yet. It's awesome. And yeah, it can get quite interesting once you maybe have a few enemies around. But I mean, what I found with it was that when I joined in, I did quite often hit the followers, because there's so many of them in melee range. They don't tend to kind of split some into ranged and some into melee. They all seem to want to go into melee. So you do occasionally hit them, but it doesn't really matter because he just summons in more. You know, it's not a big deal. And I really like the fact that, you know, I mean, look how many there are already. Now this is where I just thought, oh my god, this is what a crazy mod. I love it. Now this bandit just roaming around on his own, minding his own business, and my companion decided to go and have a fight, and he's already summoned in a few, as you can see, and he's summoning in some more. Every time you see this like purple glare, obviously that's the summon happening. There's another one. And the bandit decided, right, I've had enough of this, and he started running off. And yeah, my companion and all of his clones just followed after him, summoning more and more and more. Look how many there are. I haven't even hit this bandit once yet, and look at them all. They just keep coming, and the bandit thinks, oh god, you know, okay, I'll stand and fight. But he's not getting owned. He's holding his own, this very brave little bandit, against the army of one. And you can see why it's army of one. There's the end of the summon there. They all kind of die, and you know, he summons some more. So they don't last forever, but it is a lot of fun, this mod. Obviously it might be a little bit CPU intensive, but to be honest, if you can handle it, it's worth checking out. It's a good laugh. I mean, it is pretty mean, and oh my god, he really is an army of one. Wow. I mean, even Chuck's impressed. Look, he's down there just checking it out, trying to mind his own business. But yeah, this is a good mod. You should definitely have a look at this one. It's crazy. So after that craziness, why don't we go to a slightly more straightforward companion, but not straightforward in other ways. This is Lilium. Now, she is located in the Eldergleam Sanctuary, which you will have got to once you followed a quest, but basically you might have to go in there, and you know, it's not a like ridiculously hard place to get through. There's like some Spriggans in there and stuff, and there is a quest that you follow so you can find her, you know, anyway, and you have to kind of fight your way through a couple of Spriggans, which isn't too much of a big deal, regardless of what character you're playing on. And when you do all your looting and all that kind of business and work your way up to the kind of topish area, she's just standing there, so you can have a little chat with her, which is really cool. And here she is, and already you should see that first of all she's got, you know, some custom arrows, custom sword, custom armor. She's got 3 new custom spells which you can learn. Now these are her basic stats, and she's pretty powerful, but not in a bad way. She's really quite a flexible companion. Now here are the spell books here, and you can maximize and read them for yourself to see what they do. And she's got like a couple of versions of the armor which I believe are UMP. and she's got some custom arrows there and some other bits and bobs. Now this is one of the spells that you can learn, death trees, and it allows you to summon trees, and these do quite a reasonable amount of damage. Obviously you would summon them on enemies, but as you can see it's quite tricky to actually see where you are. Now this is Lilium's stuff straight out of the box. I should say that there are a couple of patches that you can apply on the same mod page that allow Lilium to not cast these trees and not cast the petal armor as well, I believe. So in other words, it allows you to see a bit more. But I'm using these spells at the moment, so you know, they do a reasonable amount of damage. It's not like over the top or anything, it's quite reasonable. Now this is the petal cloak, which is you summon obviously on yourself, which I'll do for this bear. Here we go, there you go, there's the petal cloak on. Now what's happening is anything in melee range is taking damage. That includes my companion chicken, but as I said, there is a little patch that allows you to switch off that side of things. Oh my god, Lilium's cast some trees. But yeah, it allows you to switch off the kind of ally damage, so you know you won't be killing your own companions when you stand next to them. Or I mean, you can imagine walking into Whiterun or Solitude with that armor on and just clipping a whole load of guards and getting owned. Now straight out of the box, this is the kind of things that Lilium can cast. She'll just go crazy with the death trees, but it's worth getting all three of the downloads. Lilium's a really good companion, very very flexible. But you will need the other two, in my opinion, you will need the other two patches as well to make sure that she doesn't go crazy with the death trees and the petal armor doesn't hurt anyone. But she's got some good custom stuff and a lot going for her, so yeah, definitely one to try out. So next up is Andromeda by Hullabaloonatic. Awesome name, awesome. Right, now this is a little bit special, this one, and perhaps a bit CPU intensive for some people, but let's crack on anyway. So yeah, back in Riverwood, if you turn back on yourself as if you're going back to the little tunnel where you first came out of when you were like level 1 or whatever, you'll see a little kind of a blue thing that's kind of glowing through. You can see it right in the middle of the screen, almost right over there. Now if you head towards that, basically that's where Andromeda is, and she is standing in a gigantic crater. And now she's obviously kind of ethereal. She's a little bit small, but that's okay. No, but what she is utter pwn, actually. She's got some really cool spells. She's really tough, really tough. She does level with you, which is obviously really nice. Again, here's some of her stats. She's powerful. Look at the magic side of things. She's, you know, 100 all the way on level 64 at least, because this particular character is 63, I believe. And yes, here she is in action. I'm not fighting here, she's doing this all on her own, and she's all these little sparkles and stuff is her. She's taken on a few people at once there, although Chuck's actually getting some attention as well by that farmer. But she is really hardcore as a caster. Here she is again, just from a slight distance. Now I thought, well, I'm going to fight, see what she does. I'm going to target her one or two different things. And she was really good with moving away from danger, keeping everything at kind of range and stuff like that. And she really does pump out these spells. There's not a massive delay in her spells as there are with some companions. And every now and then she does what I can only describe as like an I win spell. She'll glow red every now and then. It doesn't happen very much, but she kind of glows red. There she goes now. And now watch this spell that she does. It's completely crazy. I love it. But she does this kind of thing, and it basically obliterates the enemy. I go in and do a couple of hits just to do it, and there it is. Now I couldn't even find that bandit. She there it is again right there. I mean, it's a wall of hate that comes out from her. It's awesome, but it is it's worth saying that, you know, really this companion you might want to have for like some of the harder difficulties, or if you're playing a character you're learning or something like that. But she is really good. She's very powerful. A kind of a decent light as well, so a light source to have in a very dark dungeon. But I had a lot of fun playing with her. She's really flexible, and really you do feel really quite supported by her as you're kind of going around and doing quests and stuff. And not only that, but every now and then when you catch her slightly glowing body against the dark, there's some nice curves. So that's it for another Followers Focus. Thank you to everyone who recommended some of these followers for me to try out. I had a lot of fun doing it. Feel free to carry on sending in any requests you want me to look at. That's cool. And I shall see you next time for more Skyrim, more Dubiners. Goodbye.
Drums of war.